Hello. Hi, everybody. Llama talk.
Wait, is that llama choking on something? Or
Well, I feel like all my llama sounds like kind of sound the same, and I
oh yeah,
recognize that from like the first season we did the podcast. So I want to kind of do a different llama sound each time.
okay. Whoops, my bad.
Yeah, but there's no reason to gag or puke after this episode of Survivor, right, Jack? It's pretty good.
Oh, oh yeah, totally. No reason. I know. What would you gag on? A scorpion or how Vince is?
I'd
I don't
probably
know.
gag on Natalie winning Survivor San Juan del Sur. That's what I'd probably gag on. But
I wouldn't gag.
in terms of Scorpion versus a Vince hug, I'd
Uh-huh.
probably I'd probably rather go with eating the Scorpion.
Oh, yeah, I'd probably go with that too. I don't know. Depends. They smell bad though, apparently, so I'd probably go with the scorpion too. That's pretty badass of him though. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, like eat a scorpion on the first day,
Wait,
you
do
know?
Vinces smell bad or do Scorpions smell bad?
Uh,
I'm just
I don't
both.
know. Didn't he like kill a seagull? He has like a seagull in his hair or something. He
I don't
probably
know.
smells really bad. He's probably the kind of guy where it's like you'd see him on the street and he'd smell bad as it is, you know?
Yeah,
And you
or
add that,
maybe he'll smell
I
like
don't know.
coconut oil or something like exotic fruits. You never know.
I don't know. Oh well.
I thought that like right off the bat, we'll talk more about like Stowe getting voted off and stuff. But like, I mean, in terms of casual fans, I'm assuming that, and I know that a lot of people thought he was gay, but it was just like
Yeah.
so in your face, like how he's saying like, oh, I'm so intensely with every fiber of my being attracted to every single woman, and it's like a weakness of mine. I was just like, whoa, take it easy.
Yeah. Is there a gay cast like plug this season, or is there no?
Yeah, I thought Tyler was the gay person, but I'm pretty sure Kelly is lesbian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
So
too. I think it could be like
that's the
Kelly.
gay person, but like
Yeah.
it's not like they
I know. I
act
like
like
how they're.
gay people.
Yeah, I like how they're not going with like the traditional, like openly gay person. Like super flamboyant. Like I like kind of like going away from that a bit. Like Michael Snow. I didn't know he was gay until like Corinne started saying he was gay. And
Hmm.
I kind of like that, just the idea of like not being up all in your face about people and like how they live their life and stuff.
You
I
know
don't
what
know.
I'm happy about? There's no fucking firefighters on this season. I think we all need a break from that. And I mean, sure,
Magnus,
there's like a state trooper, but like I'm still going that it's a win that there's no firefighters.
but Magnus, if if the firefighters aren't there, who's gonna put out the fires? How are they gonna how are they gonna surround and drown now?
I have no idea.
Oh well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with firefighters. It's just I know they were really overused last season, and it was kind of even though Keith and what's his name, the guy you hate, I already forgot.
Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy. Even though they were like bad right now, but even though they were like firefighters and they had like a secret alliance and didn't really pan out, it still was kind of an unfair advantage, for them. Like,
Yeah, and I'm a huge Tom Westman fan. I have nothing against firefighters, but I'm just kind of sick of like I like about this. The thing I like about this cast is that they kind of did focus so heavily on like, oh, we 100% like need a cop, we need a flamboyant gay person, we need this guy, we need this person. I feel like they honestly did just take like the most interesting people and then divided them into tribes like they said they did.
yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, this cast is like we talked about in our draft. It's just like it's a good cast. I like this cast. It reminds me of like Kagayan, and I don't know. It's been positive. I really like this episode. I was really pumped for it, and it really like lived up to it. You know.
Yeah, and before we go any further, you guys can leave comments for us. We'll try and respond and be like arguing with fans, telling them that they're stupid. I'm just joking. No, we like talking Survivor with everybody. And
If you
can
want to
follow
tell
us on
Magnus
Twitter.
how if you want to tell Magnus how he's stupid for hating Natalie, I'll support you in the comments, and we can talk about how stupid Magnus is together.
Oh yeah, and another recent event, Natalie winning Miss Survivor. I just want to offer my deepest praise and congratulations to Natalie on a hard-fought campaign. She really deserved it. You can tell that she really cared, and she listened to all the podcasts that Rob does. Even okay, sarcasm aside, she doesn't even listen to the podcast for her own season that she won. She only listened to one oh, Richard Hatch is doing it, I'll listen to that one. If she's not going to listen when it's her own season that she won, she's never going to listen. So she doesn't give a shit. She was mean to Kelly in the debates, and she just doesn't give a shit. She didn't campaign at all. She did a stupid little flip phone video at the end, but there's just fanboys like you who want to swipe right with her on Tinder, or whatever the hell they do on Tinder, I don't know. And
I think it's swipe right. I don't know. I don't have a Tinder.
Well, the point is,
I mean,
congratulations, Natalie, you're awesome.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue Malcolm. What did he really do as Mr. Survivor? Malcolm's awesome. I like Malcolm. But Aris should have won Mr. Survivor last season. Aris was awesome. Aris killed it at the debates. He was so fucking funny. He was arguably more funnier than Tyson. And I don't know, Malcolm still won. It's people circle joke over things, and I don't know.
Yeah, but even with that, I felt like Malcolm was still funny during the debates, and so was Tyson. Ars, I think Ars, I agree with you. I think Ars was the funniest during that debate. But I just think that the women's debate, coupling with Tasha's technical difficulties where you couldn't even hear a fucking word she was saying, and the awkward tension and her just ratting on Kelly the whole entire time while kissing Tasha's ass. It was just at least Spencer won. That's all I'm gonna say. At least Spencer won.
Hey, you know what you can say? At least RC is in Miss Survivor.
Yeah.
That's what we can all be happy about.
But anyway, so just going back into the episode, before we get into the nitty-gritty, we're going to, talk till our tongues fall out about this episode. But before we get to that, what do you think about So leaving? I mean, we clearly called this. We both thought she was going to be the first one out. I was really wanting you to pick her before me in the fantasy draft, but you didn't fall for my stuff oh, God, why didn't you pick So yet? But
yeah,
we were both right.
I know you too well. I don't know. We both saw it coming. Maybe it was because, the way, she kind of approached the game, saying she's going to, play really hard. And that kind of, most of the time, that, really turns you off if someone comes in saying, how they're, Parvati, first of all, which apparently everyone wants to be like Parvati and Boston Robin there, little cast preview thing now. But, I don't know. We got a lot of things right, and we're gonna get a lot of things wrong probably, but So's just one of those people where it's she comes into the game and you're she's like a Joey from Big Brother, and it's she's going home,
Yeah, whenever the thing is that worries me more is that I can kind of, forgive the people that just come into the cast interviews, they're big moves, nah. It's not even intelligent or smart or thought out. People like Joaquin or Rodney, obvious recruits, I can see doing that. But so is someone who I feel should know the game better. And the fact that she's still saying that, I just feel she's not as self-aware of what it really, like, the subtlety necessary to win the game of Survivor.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was worried about her from the get-go, and I knew, like, I knew that White Collar was gonna lose. Like, I knew
Yeah.
they were gonna lose the first challenge. Like, when I heard the twist, like,
Yeah,
it's
they just have such a Lausanne feel to them, you know.
yeah,
It's
it's always how it goes. Like, on
yeah,
paper, you would think that they'd be good at the puzzle, and I think that's maybe why the Brains tribe, the White Collar tribe, these people that are already, like, perceived to be, and even you could look back to, like, fans versus favorites seasons where the the favorites tribe loses the first immunity challenge. Sure, they go on a winning streak later, but the first one, they always have this pressure to perform when they've been labeled as the team that should win, and I think that oftentimes that pressure gets to them.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like, Shirin totally could have done that puzzle, like any day of the week. It's just the pressure totally on her face. Her looking over at the other people, like, completing their puzzles wasn't helping her one bit. She needed to calm down. It's the first challenge they did. It obviously got to them a lot. And the fact that, Blue Collar was able to catch up to them was even worse. Max almost did it, though. Max, like, came in and almost did it, but yeah, like, it's like Aris and Terry. Aris even said himself, like, oh, Terry wins this reward challenge, but, the pressure's on him now because he gets a good night's sleep and everything for the last immunity challenge,
Hmm.
but it's his to lose. He has everything at his disposal, and it's his to lose. There's so much pressure on him right now. And I really think they were in that mentality.
Yeah, and I think we have to applaud Joe because he was an absolute animal in that challenge. Like,
Who was?
that was Joe. He like tore through the knots at, like, a ridiculous speed. Like, he probably, when you think about it, he probably went faster than So, because So was, like, the first one to switch from the locks to the knot tying, and Joe was the last person, and So finished only a little bit earlier than him, and he tore through that puzzle. It was like, and that's probably why Blue Collar won, because they spent a lot of time copying off the puzzle. But I mean, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I know. I think it's funny how Mike comes in, and he probably was looking at the puzzle before, but yeah. Um, yeah, I know. Joe just, I think it's funny how, like, there's all these symbols of, like, Vince trying something and then Joe coming in and doing it right. Like, Vince goes in, like, with the keys and he can't do it, and then Joe comes in and, like, totally does the knot. Vince tries to do the shelter right, and then, um, like, Joe comes in and does the shelter and stuff. Sorry, there's construction outside my door. I'm gonna close the window really quickly. But yeah,
yeah, but and also you have Joe starting the fire. You have Vince trying to talk with Jen in a normal human way, but fails, and then Joe is actually able to act like a normal human being.
yeah, I know. It's There we go. That's way better. Um, yeah, I think it's weird how Vince is all like, "Oh yeah, human to human, human to human. Do you like him better than me?"
Yeah, so, like, getting back to, like, just the marooning, like, and the initial twist. How okay? Um,
Yo,
are you
we good.
settled?
We good.
Okay. Uh, just talking about the marooning and, like, the initial twist. How do you think it went? Did you like how it panned out? Did you
Mm,
like just the general intro to the show?
I liked it a lot. Yeah, I don't know. My friend phrased something when I was watching it with him, which would have been, like, really cool. It's like, how they all picked leaders for their tribe at the beginning. I
Hmm.
think it would have been cool if, like, they picked two people, and those two people had to go to the other tribes or something. So it's like, oh, it's like one white collar and one blue collar on the no collar tribe, and, like, they kind of mix that up. like right off the bat. I think that would have been interesting. That would have like shook things up. But I don't know. I like the intro. I'm pretty sure didn't everyone have a confessional except for maybe like Nina or something. But I'm pretty sure it
I,
was
I'm pretty
pretty
sure.
even.
I'm pretty sure everyone had one. I remember Nina having one about her cochlear implants.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I liked the intro, and I liked how they just portrayed it. But like you could tell they like Jeff and like the whole like production team were like, oh yeah, really play up like your role. Like Lindsay being like, oh yeah, blue collar, like, and Dan being like, yeah, at the end of the day we're all dirty and stuff, but we come home with a smile and stuff like that. Like they're totally playing up their roles and stuff. I think it's really funny and cheesy, but it works.
Yeah, you can tell like right from the get-go that Dan is 100% hamming it up, and it's just like it's kind of an act. Like, I mean, I think he can only be this campy for so long before the people. I mean, we already saw a glimpse of it with him being pissed off and annoyed during the shelter making, and part of me kind of feels like that's more the real Dan than the one that's juggling and making wisecracks.
Yeah, I'm really pissed at Dan for that. I don't know. He said he knew he had that going against him coming in, and he knew that people would look at him that way. But why do that? Why ostracize yourself right off the bat by like all the girls like ganging up on you? You know? You don't need to make enemies, especially if you're like the fat Gandalf of your tribe. You don't need to make enemies with your tribe right at the bat.
Yeah, and I think that like just his age and body type alone, even if he was absolutely 100% perfect, fetching water for everybody, giving everyone manicures and back massages, and literally being the perfect tribe member who's happy all the time, there would still be a very strong chance of him being the first one voted off of that tribe. Like, I mean, he just has to he has to be more self-aware than that because like he himself is a reason to vote him off, like just the type of person he is. But how he's treating the women, that just like seals the deal. If they were to go to that first tribal council, I mean, I'd be shocked if it wasn't Dan. But then again, they could try and make a big move and get someone else out. But he definitely hasn't set himself up in a good position, especially since he's such a big fan and he's wanted to be on the show for like 15 years. Who makes that mistake on day one after 15 years of waiting?
It's really disappointing, like because he even said like he's self-aware about it, but to let that slip, it's just really. I hope he can recover from it.
Yeah, I know, and these are like the type of. I mean, I understand that Survivor wants to cast people who don't have this self-control because then they'll get more interesting drama and like interesting moments. But like, I mean, I don't even think the casting people expect that to come out on day one. They expect that to come out after a rainstorm, after like 4 days of having no food or water in the middle of the game. Like,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous for a super fan of Dan's caliber to make that mistake, and that's like Survivor 101. You just don't do that. And I think that Joe, during the building of the shelter, it was a little bit different because obviously Joe kind of has more leeway because he's like he's a ripped young kid who's awesome at challenges. So
I mean, he had a reason. I think it's definitely different because in Joe's case, we see why Vince is right, and we also see why Joe's right. Dan's is definitely a lot more one-sided, and Joe, like, right after he, like, bosses people around, he goes and makes the fire for them, And so it's definitely, like, really different from Dan's case.
yeah. But what did you think about the Joe Vince rivalry over Jen? I think that hopefully, I think that the Joe versus Vince thing is definitely going to be like a big storyline. It might end in the next few episodes. It might go on till a swapper emerge, but I definitely think that they're going to have a pretty big rivalry, even going beyond the whole Jen thing. I
Hmm.
think that like, as superficial as it might sound, like there's only room for one like haired, like no collar dude. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I think it's funny how Vince is so against Joe, but Joe's probably so oblivious to this rivalry right now. He's like, "What are you talking about?" Um, but I don't know. It's funny how, like I said, Joe just seems like the better Vince to me. Like it's who Vince wants to be. And Joe's even though Joe's younger, Joe's very like self-confident and
Mhm.
self-aware of who he is and how he portrays himself. I feel like Vince isn't as self-confident in who he is, and um, I don't know. I think that's the one difference between them is that one knows how they're being portrayed, and others worried about how they're being portrayed.
Yeah, I think that like obviously Vince is confident enough to like wear these feathers and stuff, but I
Hmm.
think in order for him to like truly believe that someone likes him, because I don't want to be mean or anything, but I feel like it's more rare for like for Vince to have people who like him than Joe, who like everyone likes Joe. That's
Yeah.
like the type of he is. He's probably the type of guy that everyone wants to be friends with Joe. So he
Hmm.
doesn't need like that extra thing
Yeah.
that that Vince is wanting from Jen. Like, I need you to prove it to me. And it sounds like an overprotective boyfriend, and it came off as creepy. But
Hmm.
I can just kind of like just glimpsing into like what I perceive Vince's life to be. I can kind of understand how being in that type of social situation would be difficult for him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just, I mean, can you see a way where Vince comes out on top of this? Because I can't. I see a way where it's like Joe beats Vince. You know?
I mean, I think that potentially like I mean, it's probably only going to be like three more vote offs until a tribe swap, and if no caller goes to tribal council and Nina does this temper tantrum thing, which obviously could be a diversion, and Vince could go home,
Hmm.
you know, but like Nina could go home, and then there's a good chance that those five are going to a tribe swap, and then anything can happen, you
That's true.
know.
That's true.
So so part of me, I mean, obviously, I think it's more likely that Joe is going to go further than Vince. Like, you don't
Hmm.
need to convince me of that. But I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, the first thing I was shocked about was I just thought it was strange because, well, I mean, we're both Jen Brown fans because she
Hmm.
lives in Sonoma.
We'll talk about
But
her in a bit. Yeah.
yeah, but I just thought it was strange how I, everybody was just like, I just everyone gravitated towards Jen. Will picked her first
Yeah.
to be the couple that picked the beans, and Joe clearly likes her, and Vince really took a liking to her, and I just like, I mean, I like Jen, but I've just kind of gotten this vibe from her. That, not to say I'm not a big fan, but I just feel like she's playing up the caller stuff a little bit too much.
I feel like Haley's doing that a little bit more than Jen. I don't know. I feel like they're all kind of doing it where they're all like, "Come on, guys, we're no caller. We take risks and stuff like that." And it's like, okay, like we
Yeah, but
understand you're doing this, but like,
I mean, I feel like Haley, like, because she's like a law student working to be a public defender, she kind of like has to kind of push
yeah,
it like I belong here, so it doesn't just seem weird. But I feel like Jen's, well, like I've watched like a few of the interviews and like her like meet Jen video, and it's just a lot is like I literally do whatever I want, whatever I want. I don't care about anything. I don't care about anyone. And it's like, sure, like that might be true, but like it's getting to the point where it's like, I mean, tell me something I don't know.
yeah. I I don't know. Jen, like the one thing I noticed about Jen that I really liked, and I really think she has an advantage over everyone else is also the self-awareness. She knows how she like what she gives off, and she knows like Vince is attracted to her and stuff. And like, I love how she knows she can use that because Vince will be a vote with her. She can easily manipulate Vince if he's like into her and stuff. But what I also like about Jen is she does feel like really comfortable in front of the camera, you know, and she feels like comfortable being herself, you know, if that makes sense. And I think that is a really, really big part of Survivor, where it's like, you know, like when you think of Survivor, you think of maybe like, I don't know, like 6 people on a tribe, you know, but in reality, there's all these cameras time, you know, and like it can be like really like it can make you nervous, you know, and like I know the one thing that like why returnees have like such a easy times because they got used to those cameras, you know, and they got like used to being in front of those like all those people at all the time and like how the challenges would go and stuff like that, and they got in the routine. I feel like Jen already is kind of in that routine with like she kind of like reminds me of like Courtney Yates, not in a way like Courtney is like snarky and funny and stuff, but like in a way where like they're comfortable being in front of a camera and being like themselves, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why people gravitate to her because they probably find it comforting that there's someone, maybe like a constant within all the chaos, or someone who's a little bit more like. And I think if Jen was smart, she would work with, even though Vince is being creepy. I mean, you got to work with Vince
Yeah.
long term because I guarantee you that Joe, when push comes to shove, will have no issue throwing Jen to the wolves. Like,
hmm
but Vince would never in a million years. I mean, you can already just see in the guy after one day on Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, he's kind of like worried about her like getting close to Joe and stuff like that. But like, I feel like if she were to like give him a little bit like back, you know, like a little bit of like interest back, he would definitely like go right back to her, you know.
Yeah, and I think that like I don't know. I mean I can't be the judge of it, but I mean a lot of times it did kind of look like Jen might have been flirting with Joe a bit. But I mean, we obviously see an edited version, so it could be more flirting or less flirting or whatever. But I can see how Vince might just, even if he doesn't, even if he thinks they're just friends, he has a right to feel, because they kind of made like a tentative final two. So if he has a reason to do that, bring it up, that's fine. But he was creepy about it. Hello? Jack, are you there? Okay, well, I don't really know where Jack is right now, but I'm just gonna monologue for a little bit, or maybe I'm the person. No, I'm pretty sure Jack's the one that's gone right now. But personally, overall, I think this. Oh, you're back.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Thank God. You.
Um,
I was just ranting to myself, and I was. You saved our couple of viewers from a pretty brutal rant that I was about to give. So
okay, well, don't do that, cause I can just hang up the call and come back. But what we were talking about, Vince, I don't know. I didn't really see Jen flirting with him, maybe because I didn't really catch it. But there's like there's so much like we didn't see, you know,
yeah,
and I don't know. I guess it's just it was creepy to me. I was more on Jen's side, kind of being like, why the heck does this guy like me, you know? I kind of like didn't see them flirting, didn't see her flirting. I thought he was just attracted to her in general, just because like she was comfortable in front of the cameras and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's weird. He kind of looked at her like an object, not really as a person, you know. And like he's
yeah,
like, oh, I want this thing, you know, not like, oh, I want to get to know this person, you know.
yeah, and
Oh well.
yeah, I completely agree. So like, so moving on to blue collar, how, what do you think? How do you think the whole collar tribe, like, how do you think their tribe dynamics are? What did you like and dislike about them?
Um, blue collar. I really like Rodney a whole lot more than I thought I would.
Me too.
And I don't know. I like Lindsay a lot more than I thought I would too. Those two really surprised me. Mike, I thought he would be a little bit more controlling, but he seems like we called it. You know, he's like the glue of the blue collar, and he just seems like a cheerful guy that everyone likes. You know, and it's really like interesting because like I don't think they'll vote him off before the merge. Like without a doubt, I think he'll be. If it comes down to two people, he'll be one of the two people on their tribe. I don't think he will, but if it does, I think he'll be one of the two people on the tribe. And he just like has this good presence about him, you know, that really like takes control of the tribe without actually like we didn't really see him like take control of the tribe or anything.
Yeah,
You know?
because he like Dan said, like he's a ray of sunshine. He's positive. He's funny. Like you just people like flock towards him.
Hmm.
And I loved his confessionals. I loved like the beginning how he's like, you know, I work in oil. I always have oil over me. You have to get your hands dirty if you're playing the game of Survivor. Then he rubs his hands and shows into I loved all of his confessionals.
That
I loved
feels
the scorpion stuff and how when he puked, he's like, that's just weakness leaving the body, and he's back to working and joking with everybody else. And I just thought it was great.
yeah. I don't know. If there's one winner confessional, I could. There are a few, but if there's one I pick that could be a winner confessional for last night, it would be the hands dirty one. I thought that just like really stood out to me. And Lindsay saying like, "Oh yeah, the winner's on this mat," you know, and everyone's head turns. Like that's weird that they added the head turning and like the music after that. It could be foreshadowing. It could mean that blue collar gets like a long way, you know, but. I don't know. I really like Mike. I really liked him, and I also like Sierra a lot too. Like her being, even though like Dan and Mike did like pick the big bag of rice, they shouldn't have told them about the other one because now Sierra and Lindsay are suspicious of them. You know, and that's not good. You know, you don't want that. And like I understand why. Like a lot of people actually don't understand in Survivor that you can't use honesty, you know, to leverage yourself. Like honesty is not a good way to gain people's trust, you
Yeah,
know,
and
in the game of Survivor.
I thought when Dan came back, it's like we chose the big bag of beans, and I hope this, you know, is a step towards us solidifying our trust with you guys. And I'm just like, Dan, this didn't buy you shit, okay? Like, first of all, how I would have played it personally, I
Hmm.
mean, sure, I saw kind of how badly it worked out for the other people, so this might be Monday morning quarterbacking, but like the thing I would have done is I would have recognized, okay, there's basically a small bag of beans and a minuscule bag of beans. It's not like a large, you know, be- bag of beans that they're going to be 100% convinced that that's the honest thing to do. I probably
Hmm.
would have picked the deception thing, shown up with the clue and the bag of beans, read it aloud to everybody, and said, whoever finds the idol finds the idol. Because what the producers want from this is they want it to be a lose-lose situation. Because Mike and Dan, they don't pick the clue. Everyone thinks they're lying because the bag of beans they brought back is pretty small. So and Joaquin, don't even get me started. They're fucked. And I mean, if I don't know how the no callers they didn't show if they bought the story with the big beanbag that Jen and Will gave them because it was the truth, but we can't tell if they're whispering behind their back like, oh, I'm sure they screwed us. But I think that like either way, you're screwed unless you just read the clue to everybody. That way, there's no doubt that you did the deceive thing, but people aren't mad at you. You know, I mean, you're not going to win that situation, but
Yeah.
that's the thing you do to make sure you don't lose at all.
Yeah. Like, I would personally, I was like, I think you're on the right track. I think I would do something more like, guys, let's stick together. Let's go find this idol, and we'll use it for our tribe. We're gonna take our tribe we're gonna take it farther than any other tribe. We're gonna use this idol for our tribe. We're gonna gain the numbers at the merge, at the swap, whatever it is. You know, whoever has it, it's theirs. But we're gonna use it for the tribe. You know, and
Yeah,
like,
because that way it's twisted like you're the good guy who's trying to get this tribe forward. There's no doubt in anyone's mind because you're showing them the clue. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that you're lying or you picked a different thing than you actually picked. and it makes sense to everybody. It was very tricky because the bag sizes, like one was like ridiculously small and one was pretty small, so you could see the big one, in your imagination actually being the small option. So that's the way the producers wanted to screw with you. So I definitely think that, like, yeah, just picking the deceive thing, reading it to everybody, and spinning it in a way that makes you look good is the way to go. And that's why you and I would do better on Survivor than all 18 people out there, without a doubt.
I feel like Joaquin kind of totally fucks So over there.
I mean, So should have known better.
Yeah, we'll get on to them. But back to the blue collar tribe. And is there anything else you want to say about them?
Yeah, I think that Sierra, like, I mean, it might not have. Obviously, it didn't look smart to the viewers. Her being like, oh, they're obviously full of shit, and especially since, like, the viewers probably, like, I know I kind of liked Dan and Mike. At least at that point, I kind of got annoyed with Dan when he was, bitching on. But, like, at that point, they're the actual, heart and soul of America. They're probably the most blue collar on the tribe, and they chose to do the honest thing, and then Sierra is still, like, calling them out. But I think that Sierra had every right to be skeptical because that bag of beans was pretty small. So I don't think it reflects badly on Sierra.
I mean, the thing is, like, the producers totally fucked with them because it's this huge bag, and it's full of this much beans, but it's, like, obviously bigger than the other one, but it looks like so not full, Yeah. It's funny.
And one more thing I want to talk about is I want to talk about Rodney a little bit. Like, I thought that him doing, like, the tattoo story with Lindsay about his sister dying, I thought that the strategy behind it is, like, showing them that you can 100% trust what he's saying because you have the tattoo to back up and you can win over their hearts. I thought that was, like, smart, but I mean, a day one thing, that's kind of heavy stuff to kind of push on someone on day one. So I felt like the strategy thinking was there. Like, it was pretty good by Rodney, better than what I certainly expected. But I felt like he should have done it maybe a little bit later, where you actually kind of have more of a bond with the people.
Yeah, I don't know. When he first met, I'm like, oh, that's a tattoo he has so he can pick up chicks at the bar. Yeah, I didn't think it was real, but I don't know. It is good. Like, when is there, like, he's sharing a tattoo, and it happens to be a moment in his life that, like, is really meaningful and really, like, pulls out the heartstrings of other people. And, it just happened in the moment where he, like, probably shared it with her, and it was good. I feel like it was a win-win either way. And I feel like, yeah, maybe you could have waited, but I don't know. If it was in that moment, I would have taken that moment too.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to, like, we obviously can't, like, read the context of the situation. Like, Lindsay very well could have asked, like, oh, what's that one? Or they could have had, like, a deep conversation about their lives after. But kind of from what we saw, it's like literally they've been on the beach for like 27 minutes, and Rodney's already talking about this, and Lindsay just walked up and didn't even want to hear it. But yeah, we can't really know. But is there anything more you want to talk about blue collar, or do you want to go on to white collar?
Kelly's non-existent. Let's move on.
Yeah, well, I think that was one of my favorite parts of the episode, because I don't really like Kelly, and hopefully this means that she's gonna go home, pretty soon.
Yeah, I don't know. There was just one confessional she had where it was, like, talking about Dan and how she, like, was bitching to him, but that's it. Other than that, I, like, totally forgot about her till she had, like, started talking. I'm like, oh yeah, there's that one girl on that one tribe. It's like,
yeah,
it was weird.
But anyway, so we have white collar, Joaquin and So get picked, and the thing I liked about this twist that I wasn't expecting is when they said, like, oh, we're gonna have two people go back to camp and make a decision for the tribe. I initially, just in my head, I thought it was gonna be like Targan, where you pick a leader, and then the leader.
It's good. It's all good. Just a
And,
guy falling over.
and then the leader like picks two people to have to make the decision. Um, and I thought that would just be like too much picking and choosing and delegating. It would seem stupid to be like, oh, this is exactly like Kage-an, except for we're picking another person. So I thought it was interesting, like how they pick a leader, and then the leader picks someone to join them. Because after seeing Kage-an, the leader might think like, okay, this is good. I'm not going to be fucked over by the twist. I get to pick who's being fucked over by the twist. But then it turns out
Mm-hmm.
they are fucked over by the twist.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's the white collar tribe definitely is the most interesting in this episode. You know, it was funny
Yeah.
like how the twist like turned out. I would have liked it if like they did that thing like my friend mentioned where it's like they switched tribes. I thought that would have been really cool and that would have been hard. Like how would they like overcome that? You know, because like they are like just meeting everyone, so like maybe they could form just as strong bonds as like if like you're white collar and you're on a no collar tribe. You know, but yeah, I like how they like were like they didn't just like ostracize someone right off the bat. You know, because I really fucked David Sampson over and like Cagayan and stuff like that. But this time, like they're actually like they have someone there with them, you know. Like I like how they all like were able to make the decisions together, you know.
Yeah, and I think that it's a tribe. The white collar tribe is just like full of super fans, like Tyler, Max,
Carolyn's
Sharon.
Carolyn's a super fan.
Carolyn's a big fan also. We'll talk more about Carolyn. She like really, really pleasantly surprised me in the episode. Um, and then so is a pretty big fan. So it's pretty obvious that like they're like, oh, Joaquin, you can make the decision because like, you know, Joaquin fell for it because he doesn't know the show. But
Yeah,
I liked Joaquin in the earlier parts of the episode. I know that he's not the best player, but I just thought he's so white collar. He's so like we gotta pick this one. Like
yeah,
like this is it. He's so confident with his decisions, even though he shouldn't be. But he's just the type of person that everything he does, he's gonna be confident in, no matter
yeah.
what.
Even if it's like a really stupid thing that fucks someone else over, he's gonna be confident in it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny how they all used him as a scapegoat because they were all smart enough not to be the leader. And then So totally got fucked over by getting picked by him. You know, I feel like
I'm pretty sure she raised her hand though.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe we'll have to go back and check it out. But
I'll check it
I don't
out.
know. So it seemed like talking like you mentioned So how like she's like you know she totally like fucked herself this episode, but I don't know. Like I feel like she does have good qualities in like the way she plays the game. You know, where it's like if she were to come back a second time, I think she'd do a lot better. You know, she learned from like her one mistake she made in like these 4 days, but I don't know. Like I feel like she definitely like fucked herself, but she has this. She does seem like a player to me. You know.
Yeah, and I think that like I don't know the neutral choice lie was so bad. I feel like even like there was like there was an honest box, a deceit box, and then a mystery box, and we chose the mystery. But like that would even be better than a neutral box because Survivor is never going to give you a neutral anything. Like
Yeah.
they're always going to force you to make a decision, and I mean I think that maybe an unknown decision like a mystery thing. I don't think I would buy that if I was on the island, but I think that'd be a little bit better of a lie. Also, if you're looking at like the immunity idol clue, and it's just like, oh, it's in a fucking tree near like the water well, you have to think to yourself, okay, is this information really worth keeping just for me? Because I guarantee you that all 6 players have watched Survivor enough to know that every single fucking idol is in a tree near the water well. Like that's where everyone is looking either way. So there's a very good chance that someone like Carolyn will find the idol. I mean, if it's like buried somewhere else, that okay, like I'm for sure gonna find this. Like it's very clear directions to a buried idol that no one else is gonna find unless you're fucking Tony. But then maybe hold on to it. But I think otherwise you got to read it to everybody else and come up with some bullshit that you're trying to be putting forward the tribe.
Mhm. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Um, I don't know. I think it's funny how Max took that dig at her, where he's like, "Yeah, I would have taken the same choice, except I would have just been done a better job at lying about it, you know." And I don't know. You could tell when they were watching. I kind of started cringing. Like they totally knew they were lying about it. Like everyone knew they were lying about it. Even Tyler knew they were lying about it. And like Tyler wasn't in the loop, but it's it's just funny. It's so funny how like that's the thing they come up with is, oh yeah, we have a neutral choice. So we thought it would be best if we take the neutral choice. It's like, no, if you want to be fucking nice, you take the good choice, the honest choice, you know? That's stupid. It's just stupid. They didn't think it out properly, and I was nervous that they wouldn't, and I knew they wouldn't, and it totally bit them in the ass.
And also, like, they were gone. Like, I think that's the thing with Jen and Will, that people didn't doubt it so much. I'm assuming, because we didn't get to see their reaction on the No-Crawler tribe. But I'm pretty sure they were quick with their decision. They're just like, we're going to go with honesty. Like, it's too early. So they grabbed it and went back to camp. They were gone for 2 minutes. And, like, it's easier to trust that than when Joaquin and So are in the jungle just sitting and talking. They're gone for 15 minutes, clearly trying to come up with a lie. Then So comes back, and she's like, yeah, so there was this choice, and like it was like, oh dear God, and like it's so bad. And I mean, I kind of liked it because no one fell for it even remotely. Everybody afterwards was like, that was complete fucking bullshit. No way that happened. And that like was satisfying as a viewer. Just like, okay, they see right through that.
Yeah. I think it's funny how like they all came in and Joaquin had like convinced her to do it, and like they all came into the tribe and Joaquin was just like completely silent and let So like just explain everything. That was just so funny. I was like, fucking Joaquin, just throwing like people under the bus.
I mean, I as much as we can say Joaquin, like, okay, Joaquin is not a good player, but you do have to kind of respect how he single-handedly just destroyed So's game. Just like with his charm and his confidence, he was able to literally get So to like samurai stab herself in the stomach.
I think maybe that's his game. Maybe he's gonna do that every single tribal council. He's gonna like get close to someone on the outs and have them like fucking commit Sudoku or whatever and like kill themselves or something.
Yeah, and I think that like honestly, if I were to have to guess who's going home next on the white collar, I'd pick Tyler over Joaquin.
Wait, what the fuck's Sudoku? Is that a Japanese game?
Sudoku is like the math puzzle.
Yeah. My bad. Oh well, whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, probably. What did you think of everyone?
I thought that like the like Sheeran was smart to make alliances right off the get-go. I mean, from what we saw, like it was kind of weird how Max didn't seem very enthusiastic about the alliance with Sheeran and Carolyn. He was just kind of like staring at them, the glazed look over his face. And I kind of think I like Max and stuff, and I'm
Max
always rooting for a super fan. I kind of found his confessionals to just be like he's like, Survivor 101. You never want to get put in a leadership position, and this is really crucial in the game of Survivor, because I taught like this has this way of talking that's like, oh, am I gonna have to deal with like a lecture for 39 days, or am I gonna like see the real Max, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's just the thing about Max. Like, I like Max. I like how he plays, but I feel like he is just like this odd guy. You know, he's kind of just like a quirky guy. You know, I feel like that's just how he is. I feel like everyone that talked to him, he was kind of just like that. You know, I feel like he's just there's just something a little off about him. Like, he's just a little weird. You know, and I feel like that's just who Max is, though.
Yeah, and I think that we're gonna get. I think that right now he's kind of like it's the first few days of the game. He's caught up in trying to be this like Survivor professor character that they want him to be, And I guarantee you that, like, when it starts raining, it's 20 days into the game, he's not going to give a shit about how he's perceived, and he's just going to, say what he thinks. And I'm looking forward, hopefully that part comes out, and he's not just going to be, doing, like, lecture-y type of, and they're not always just going to, like, pan to him whenever someone makes a mistake and have him just be like, I know Survivor. And I know that you're never supposed to throw a challenge because oftentimes it's you going home. And I can just like see this type of confessionals are going to come forth. And I'm just like, I just don't want to deal with it.
I feel like he wasn't like that though. I don't know. From my perspective, I felt like it wasn't really luxury at all. I don't know. He definitely seems kind of like Spencer. Like people were mentioning this, he kind of seems like he got the Spencer edit of like the first episode of Cagayan, where like you're gonna be rooting for him. But I don't know. Like he kind of seemed like especially when the puzzle like came along, he kind of got like really like emotional. Like it's like emotions kind of took over, and he like got really frustrated and stuff like that. And like I feel like maybe when they got back to camp, he might have wanted to vote Shuin off. Maybe he was really pissed about that challenge or something. But,
yeah, like obviously we have this, mindset that him and Sharon are like an inseparable alliance because so buddy-buddy on social media. But like that obviously is not the case on day 3 of Survivor when they don't even know each other and Sharon just like fucking blew it on the puzzle. Like,
yeah.
I mean, at that point, even if they're best friends later in life, I wouldn't blame Max for wanting to vote her off.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's one thing to mention about Sharon is I thought she's in a good position right now where she has Caroline on like one side and she brought Max in on the other. So I feel like she's kind of in the glue. She's like kind of like the middle of that group. And I think that's a good spot to be at, because like she can really choose which way to go with if it comes down to it.
Yeah, and honestly, like Sharon, the thing that should be comforting for her while she's on the island is that she knows that if she can make it the 3 more vote-offs to the tribe swap, she's probably going to be like, going very far in the game because no one's going to give a shit enough to vote off her because she doesn't look like a threat. And like I know we're jumping forward, but like I'm looking forward to next week's episode because like, the scenes of the next episode show like the white collar tribe going no collar and Max like doing the Richard Hatch stuff in the water, like running around naked. I think it's gonna be funny.
Yeah, like Richard Hatch tweeted at him, He's
yeah.
like, yeah, pumped for next episode. That's funny. I don't know. I really liked Carolyn though. But I did not think I liked her as much as I did. She seems like not like the usual player I'd like, but I liked her. She really like perceived my expectations, I guess. Like I didn't expect to like her that much.
Yeah, I liked everything. I liked her gameplay. I liked her confessionals. I liked how she, right off the bat, she was like, I know Joaquin and So are lying. They're doing this like devilish lie to us right off the bat, and they've thrown all of our trust to the wayside. But I can't blame them because I would have done the exact same thing in Survivor. You've got to do that. You've got to lie. So I mean, I don't hold it against them at all, and I just like that type of stuff because normally, you have the older tribe member who's like, oh my god, I'm the mother figure to these people, and then you have Cass who's just like a raging bitch who's like always so like defensive and thinking that everyone's against her. And I think Carolyn's like a good balance. Like she's just a cool, like solid, good player who's older woman. And I think that she does a good job of balancing her emotions. And I thought she was funny. And I thought her confessional was great. How she's like, it's not about class. This is survivor warfare. Like I thought that she has a very good way of like narrating the show, and I like her. I think she's doing good.
Yeah, I don't know. I totally agree with all that. It's like her finding the idol was like really cool. Like being like, I'm smart enough to know like it's gonna be in a good tree where like they're gonna want to hide an idol, and like that was really cool. And I really like how she didn't play her idol. You could tell like Tyler was kind of trying to get her to like play her idol at Tribal, like being like, oh, we want to keep this tribe strong, you know, maybe you, like, might want to get rid of the weak person, you know, and, like, they were trying to get her to play it, and she, like, totally didn't give in to that. But, like, the one thing I didn't like is how she told Tyler that she had the idol. I was like, why would you? Don't do that. Like, that's the one, like, moment I was like, Carolyn, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that, you know?
I think that like I mean, obviously it's the first tribal council, so she's like really paranoid, and she really doesn't want to go home. And I'm pretty sure she knew that she had Max and Sharon's vote, and Tyler was just kind of a little bit up in the air, and you didn't really know where he was at. So I think by sharing with Tyler that she had a hidden immunity idol, it really solidified his vote with her, and because otherwise, like, why would he vote against her? Because she really played it up like, oh, I could play it, Tyler. So, but not in a way that like, Tyler, like, you better watch out. I might play this, so you better vote with me. In just a way like, if I feel like I'm paranoid, like, I have to play it, you know. So I feel like it was smart in the sense where she solidified that final vote, but I don't know if it was a precaution that she had to take. But at least the whole tribe doesn't know. Only Tyler at this point, and Tyler might blab, but I don't think he's like the first person. Like if she told Max, like I guaranteed Max would tell people. I think Tyler might be, you know, the best person who'll be able to keep a secret at least for a little while. But I still don't see Carolyn being a big target, even if they knew she had an idol.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know. Like, going back to Tyler, I feel like I liked him a whole lot more than I thought I would too. I don't know. I really liked how he's like playing this game. It's like you can tell if it comes down to it, he'll turn on anyone like that. You know, like he doesn't seem to have allegiance to anyone, and he's do things and fit his game instead. You know.
Yeah, and like I read like some behind the scenes stuff, and like Gordon Holmes says that Tyler was always like championing that like nobody should talk strategy, like we don't need to. I don't want to deal with the dishonesty, like, and whenever anyone tried to talk strategy, he's like, no, we don't have to do it. And he's like and like if you can, like, we can see through it because we know Tyler's like a devious bastard that will do anything and cut anyone to win. But he's trying to set this precedence for being honest, which I think is pretty smart. But the only fear I have is that it could be alienating him from people like Carolyn, Max, and Shireen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm worried about. Is like, well, you know, if they lose again, Joaquin's going home, then who's going home next? You know, obviously Tyler's going to be on the bottom then. You know, granted they'll probably make it to a tribe swap before that, but if they don't, like, he's fucked. You know, like he's not in the core three, and they're obviously like a core three. You know.
Yeah, and I'm kind of, I mean, honestly, I kind of see this season going different from the other three tribe seasons where, you know, Matt Singh and Luzon just get decimated.
Yeah.
I think that it's time for, like, I honestly think that all three tribes will go to tribal within the first 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the tribes are evenly matched, and they're gonna have a good. If I had to bet, I'd say blue collar. My prediction is that they're going to go to tribal next week.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think that the water challenge, I don't know, I feel like white collar, no collar have better like tribe members for that.
I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like no collar is going to go to tribal next. But I totally agree with you. I feel like first 4 episodes, all 3 of them are going to have gone to tribal. You know?
Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, because Nina's gonna sit out, according to like the promo pictures.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, and Will is gonna participate, and then Dan is gonna sit out for blue collar. So, I mean, actually, you know, you have Will dragging them down, and then the weakest person on blue collar. They all seem like they'd be pretty good. So I could definitely see, because it's a pretty physical-looking challenge, unless there's a big puzzle at the end that we can't really see in the water challenge for next week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't see White Collar winning tribal again next week.
Are you sure that's the immunity challenge, not the reward?
I don't. No, I'm not sure.
If
But
I don't know, maybe it'll probably be immunity, I guess. Yeah. I know, cause like last season when they like did like a water challenge in that area, around the same time it was immunity, but that was just cause they had Redemption Island duels, Hero Arena duels. But I know, like I think I saw promo pictures where like they're carrying something over a beach, but I'm not sure if that's like this episode or like a episode in the future or something.
I
I'm
think
not
that's
sure.
episode. I assume that's episode 3, because there's like promo
Yeah.
pictures for the first 3 episodes um of the challenges.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like it could go either way though. I don't know, but I feel like they're really like evenly matched.
Actually, yeah, I agree with you. I changed my mind. I think Collar is gonna go to tribal, and
Hmm.
it'll probably be like Vince or Nina or
Yeah.
something. But what
Yeah.
did you think um, about the tribal council for this episode specifically?
Uh, I thought it was cool. Kinda. I don't know. Like on one side, I liked Carolyn, voting out So and stuff like that. But on the other, I didn't like So and Joaquin ostracizing two people right off the bat, like Survivor 101. Like don't ostracize people on your own tribe right off the bat. You don't want them to know you're ostracizing them, because then that makes you a target to people.
But apparently, like, uh, I like looked at I looked at So's exit interview on like Xfinity's website, and apparently she did. Her and Joaquin told like Max and some one other person that they did pick like the deceive box, and they were honest with them about that in an attempt to bring them into an alliance. So it
Hmm.
wasn't like ridiculous, and I thought it was stupid how she was still trying to like keep up the lie
Yeah.
at tribal council. And I thought the things her just saying like, oh, the 4 of us are so strong, it would just give me a recap to like Garrett and Cagayan, who's saying like the alliance. I mean the tribe has to be strong, and like, I mean, I thought it was unnecessary fumbling over her words. And what really stood out to me was I watched the roundtable discussion
Was it
with
the winners roundtable one with Rob C? And
yeah, the winners and Rob C
I love
roundtable
that one.
discussion.
I love
Yeah,
how he just, I don't know. I love how Rob just kind of like hands Jeff his ass sometimes, where he's like, "Oh, Jeff, it's not about big moves. It's about moves at the right time and stuff like that." I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was funny. It was a great roundtable.
yeah, but I like the part where disagreed with most of what Jeff was saying, because he was being ridiculous for most of it. But I
Yeah.
liked when he said that, like, I think that people, if they were really smart and really great at the game and like great at talking, they should view me as an opportunity at tribal. And like that's what, if I was on the show, that's honestly what I would try and do, because I'm fairly confident in my ability to talk, and I think that at tribal council, when everybody is, on the defensive and trying to just tiptoe around Jeff's questions,
Hmm.
really like crafting a great argument and a perfect response to one of Jeff's questions that's going to try and get everybody to like, hear what they want to hear, like really targeting arguments to different people and really crafting an overall, persuasive argument is something that can be done at tribal council. And I think that, really good players, and I think Max is one of those people that's well spoken enough to do this, can really use Jeff's questioning at tribal council to like further solidify trust with other tribe members.
Hmm. I know. I agree. I mean, I think that comment about like, I would just done a better job at lying about it. I thought that was a little weird, but ultimately, I think he like it was more of a jab at them, and more of a, because I'm pretty sure like he must have like at least I don't think he would have said that unless they all would have been like, yeah, I would have done the same thing, but like why would they just like flat out like try to lie about it, like when it sucks, like the lie sucks, and like I'm pretty sure they all joked about it. I'm pretty sure like it was more of like kind of joking and kind of more of like a jab to solidify himself with the others rather than just a straight out jab and like trying to like be like a little bit more egotistical, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm like confident that it's like a 3-hour tribal, and they were living with each other for 3 days before, and that happened like 15 minutes into the game. I'm pretty sure Tyler, Carolyn, Max, and Sharon said to themselves, like, yeah, we all probably would have picked the Deceives. Like, we're horrible, despicable, white-collar human beings. We're going to pick the Deceive thing, but we all probably would have come up with a better lie. And Max just probably wanted, he's like, oh, this is first tribal council. I want some wicked rain, some nice drama, and I want to say some cool stuff so we can get on TV. And I think that Max, yeah, like the thing about Max is I feel like he's trying as opposed to just being himself. I feel like the thing about Carolyn that I like is that I think that she's just 100% herself, and it's effortless with her. And I still kind of feel with Max that he's trying to do something.
Yeah.
With all of his comments, when he's like, Jeff, the one thing I wanted was, a wicked rainstorm and some nice drama. And I feel like that's just a line that he must have, in my head, I just feel like he practiced that before Tribal Council, or he thought of stuff that he could say. And I know that Gordon Holmes said that Max had like a really long, funny joke about during his voting confessional for about like, oh, the company's being downsized and we have to like see you go. I just feel like he's trying really hard, and I'm looking forward to not seeing Max try at all, and I feel like it'll be more entertaining then.
I know. I thought it was one thing that like got me where it's like, I think it was Shirin that was like, so wait, is it Shireen or Shirin?
I think it's Sheeran.
Shirin.
But I'm saying it's. I think I'm saying it on most of the podcast, but I'm pretty sure it's Sheeran.
Wait, Shirin.
Yeah.
Where she was like, the game's afoot, and Max's comment was, a wise man once said, or something like that, or like, it was like totally like not necessary, but they like kind of zoomed in on it or something. It was weird.
Yeah. But I think that Max and Sharon and Carolyn are probably going to do pretty well.
I like Tyler too. I like a lot of the people on the white collar tribe. I don't know.
I like Tyler too, but I just don't like don't see that like X factor. Like I don't feel like he is the person to watch in this season. I feel like on paper he should be the person to watch, but just my gut's just like I don't think Tyler has what it takes to win.
Yeah, I definitely don't think he has what it takes to win, but I think he's going to be something to look out for, in the season as it progresses. And I don't know. Yeah. Last thing, what did you think of the challenge?
I like the challenge. I liked how there were choices between the locks and the knots. I feel like the locks were clearly easier. People just panicked, and because you have 20 keys, you have 3 locks, okay, and like it's not going to take that long, and there's like 20 knots.
Yeah, there were a lot of knots. There were like shit ton of knots.
Yeah, I guarantee you that if they stuck, the team that stuck with all locks would have been out quicker. But I like the element of choices, and how when one person makes a different decision, the other people panic and make that decision also. I thought moving the ladder through it was kind of a puzzle also with the ladder was kind of cool. Yeah. And I liked how the puzzle thing worked out. I would have liked to see someone choose the 5-piece puzzle. I probably would have gone for the 5-piece because, I mean, when you hear, like, Kev did say they average out the same time. And if you have a lead, I can understand why they would go with the 50-piece. I actually don't I don't see a flaw in their strategy. I just think Sheeran did a horrible job with the puzzle because you had to think that
She
she
just
had
like
like such a
choked under
big
the
lead.
pressure.
Yeah, and you could just see that she was panicking. She's like, oh my god, sorry guys, and yeah, she was definitely panicking, and she had such a minuscule amount of it done. And you have to think that
Hmm.
blue collar was probably behind by like, these are challenges that take a lot longer in real life. They were probably down by like 10 or 15 minutes or something. Like she probably had a good chunk of like 5 or 10 minutes to get ahead on that puzzle, but she just failed.
Yeah. I like how Max. Did you see how Max came in? He was just like fucking pushed her out of the way. He's just
Yeah,
like
he
so
he, he
serious
walked
about it.
up he walked up like a pro. I mean, he was like an NFL player, like walking through a tunnel with like fog,
Yeah.
smoke machines coming out. Like he, I mean, it looked ridiculous because he ended up not even being able to do anything, and he didn't. I mean, honestly, as much as we would like to say, oh, Max made up so much time and it was neck and neck, I don't really think it was that close.
I don't know. Max like definitely organized it a lot more. He had it down. I feel like he had more time. He definitely would have beat him. You
Yeah,
know.
I feel like if Max did it from the get go, he
Mhm.
would have he would have won it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have beat Joe. Like Joe was ridiculous. I think he would have come in second though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it was a poor challenge performance from the white collar as a whole. But I thought So did great on the knots, and I I liked watching Lindsay and Nina fall. Thought that was funny. So I think it had all elements of a good land survivor challenge.
Yeah. I know. At the five-person puzzle, I would love to have seen someone do that and be like, "Holy shit! Like, how the hell did they do that?" You know. I thought maybe like I kind of knew the way I was editing, Mike would end up like doing the puzzle for them, and I was like, "Oh yeah, fucking called it or something." But that would have been cool.
Yeah, I thought it was people were like it was a strange challenge in the sense where like in past seasons and normally don't have as much swapping out as this challenge had. Like there was literally a swap out on every stage. Like the same person that did the keys couldn't even do the knots. Like they all swapped out, and then they all swapped out at the puzzle. Like Jen tried to do the puzzle for like a few minutes, couldn't get one piece in, and then Joe swapped in and did the whole entire thing. Then you have Sierra and Mike swapped out, and then Sharon and Max, swapped in, and it was just like there was just so much swapping. And in past seasons, you have Jatia, who's gonna fuck up the puzzle, but she's gonna be the only one to fuck up the puzzle, and the whole Brains tribe is just gonna be sitting behind, watching her fuck up their dreams and their hopes of winning Survivor, and they're just gonna
Yeah.
sit idly by and watch it happen. But I thought there was more swapping than usual, but I like the channel.
Yeah, I know. I like seeing people like utterly fail under pressure, like Survivor challenges. I know. I think it's cool, and I like people rising to occasion in Survivor challenges. But I don't think I like the swapping that much. I would like to have seen them like panic a little bit more under the pressure. I guess. I know. Who are the best Survivor puzzlists of all time?
I mean, what you got to go with Rob.
Boston
Obviously,
Rob,
that's like
Laura
yeah, Boston
Moret,
Rob.
Laura Moret, Boston Rob. Those are the two
Laura,
that come to mind.
Laura Moret did have a freakish puzzle skills. I can't really think of really anyone else because I mean you got to go with people returning players because people don't have that much of a chance to show how good they are at puzzles. LJ was pretty good at puzzles for the time he
LJ
was on
was
the show.
LJ was good at puzzles. LJ was like
Um,
surprisingly good at puzzles. Um, hmm.
there's a lot of people, but I think that Rob has like the best track record
Was
in terms of the
Yalman good
most
at
puzzles.
puzzles?
Xiaoman was best at physical challenges, to be
Huh.
honest. He was always winning like the archery challenges, like the blindfolded maze challenges, endurance challenges. He probably did good in a puzzle challenge.
You know the best challenge beast ever, Chris Daughtry. He great challenge beast.
Yeah, you know what I hate about Survivor? I hate the word puzzles. I think that that's such a cop out. Like, did you just like get a Scrabble set and just like oh, immunity is the word. And I think it could work in some occasions, like in Philippines where they're diving down for like these wheel things, and then they put them all on this whole line, and then they make a word out of it. But just like collecting tile pieces and then making a word, I just feel like that's lame.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't know. Some of them are just like little freaking puzzles you could do at your house, you know? Like that. That's funny. Like one of the ways to prepare for Survivor is do like little, like childish puzzles at your house. And it really helps, you know, like carnival games and little puzzles.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to go on Survivor, I'd just do ton of slide puzzles, and I mean, like you have to, like they repeat challenges and they even repeat puzzles. Like this puzzle they used for the tree one was the exact same as a puzzle in One World, and I think really really similar to puzzles used in like Caramone
Yeah.
and other seasons.
Pretty sure they used it like even more recent too. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
so honestly, if you just take a screenshot of like the puzzle and just like look at it, that can help. Like this type of stuff can help you in the game of Survivor. And obviously, just stand with your head above your hand for 6 hours. I would waste my time doing that. I'd practice untying knots. I would, swim a
Yeah.
lot, do yoga.
Yeah. So, you know, take tips from us, because we've never been on Survivor, but we know what to do.
We might one day, though. You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
31's going to be Survivor Cambodia. 32 is
All stars.
probably going to be some All Stars thing. Survivor 33, Magnus's Island. Magnus just wins. That's going to be the theme of the season. That's going to be everything.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then the best part about winning is that in the finale, Natalie will come over to hand you your check, and you'll be like, hey, you're not a real winner, and just take it from her.
No, if Natalie is the next host of Survivor, then I'm quitting. I'm not watching anymore.
No, she's not the host. She's just the one that goes over and like bows to you and like gives you your check.
Yeah,
And
and
you're like,
I'd make a snide comment, and I'd go off and spend my $1 million.
Yeah. Okay.
But are you excited about? I mean, this is like kind of spoilers, but I don't think anybody really cares. But are you excited about them going to Cambodia for 31?
Yeah, I am. I heard it's gonna be all newbies again, and I don't know. That should be interesting. I don't know. Like this season seems good. Cagayan seems good. Simon Del Sur was okay. I hope like I don't know. I think it's gonna be cool. But I'm really pumped for 32. I'm ready for another All Stars. I'm ready for another All Stars. I've been fucking ready for a Big Brother All Stars for a long time. So I hope that's coming this year too.
I think you're gonna have to wait on the Big Brother All Stars.
God damn it. I know. Oh well. I'm pumped for Big Brother Canada 3. That should be happening really, really soon. So we're gonna podcast on that. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Once a week though. But
definitely not 3 times a week. We have school that we have to do. And the good thing about when we're both reality TV superstars is that maybe someone will finally watch this podcast.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You know, maybe someone will actually be like, hey, look, there's that one guy from that one thing podcasting about the thing he was on.
Yeah, and like, oh, look, Magnus, he isn't a complete worthless piece of shit, and maybe we do care about what he has to say. Maybe. If one person thinks that, then my life now has meaning.
Hey, if you ever get on Survivor, like once they like reveal that you're on the show, I'll put our YouTube channel like link on like our Reddit and be like, hey, check out this guy. Look, he knows his shit. You know? So that you can be the like most used golden flare on the subreddit. Will that make you happy?
Fans. Jeff, I mean the thing is that Jeff is like finally seeing the light. He's like, I'm like, we're gonna cast diehard fans that actually want to be on the show. And sure, they're going to use more. They're going to use recruits, but I mean, the number of recruits is. I mean, Fiji, it was like 100% recruits, and then it's kind of gone down, and then it's like it got to the point where it's like maybe half and half, maybe 60-40 split, and it's gotten to the point where I think there's more applicants than recruits, and I think it's just going to keep on, hopefully, staying at that ratio, or even more applicants than recruits. And I think that Jeff's like the people are recognizing that the people who really want to go on Survivor are the people that are gonna, be so desperate and do whatever it takes, and they will, they'll just be absolutely batshit crazy.
I know, I don't know. I think I remember, Kuga Ann, wasn't it, Spencer applied, Cass applied, did Tony apply?
Yeah, Tony actually did apply.
Tony applied. I'm pretty sure Tasha applied. But, it was, Garrett, Jatia, Wu. Those are the people that were recruited. And, you had a fucking great season with, people that actually wanted to be there, I think that's what really, changed Jeff's mind. And hopefully this season will change his mind, too,
Yeah, and I feel like from what we've seen, the applicants, the fans, are going to make a pretty big splash in this season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know.
And I mean, and it goes to show, a lot of these people in their Meet the Cast videos, they're like, yeah, I've been trying for 4 years to get on the show. I've been trying for the last 6 years to get on the show. Dan, I've been trying for the last 14 years to get on the show. Even Max, he was in finals for Cayenne casting, didn't get on the show. And you have all these great people that are that they're probably like, damn, we should have cast them on Survivor Nicaragua when they were in finals, but instead we chose a recruit over them that did nothing. Yeah. And I think they might be like, okay, we should cast these people sooner instead of making them wait 5 years.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough job. I would hate to have the job of putting a cast together,
I would love it. Crushing people's hopes and dreams is the epitome of what I live for.
Okay, Tyson.
So game plan, life plan. Okay, I get on Survivor. I win Survivor. I come back for Survivor 39, the Legend season. Win that. You get on Big Brother. You win. You get on Big Brother Legend season. You win that also. We go on the Amazing Race. We win, and then we're just reality TV bosses, and we do whatever the fuck we want. That's the game plan. I'm banking on that, and college is just the backup plan.
Yeah, sounds good. Wait, did you watch a little bit of the Amazing Race yesterday, though?
Yeah, I watched it. This is an Amazing Race podcast, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I mean, I didn't really care that much. I'm getting less into the Amazing Race. I don't like the twist very much. I don't like their cast.
It's cringy going from Vince trying to get with Jen to blind dates going on Amazing Race together. I can't tell which is more cringy. It was really uncomfortable episodes last night. But
yeah, and as much as I hate the typecasting in Survivor, we have an ex-NFL player, and we have a kind of former star, in Big Brother, Frankie Grande. But in the Amazing Race, I kind of would have wanted to see Zach and Frankie, or some other reality TV people. I enjoy the Amazing Race more when there's someone from Big Brother or Survivor on there to root for or root against, depending on my opinions about them, which shows kind of how much more I care about Survivor and Big Brother, but mainly Survivor.
Yeah, Ethan and Jenna, never forget.
I'm still it took me a long time to get over what happened to Ethan in Survivor All-Stars. Even though he did great, he made it farther than every winner, and he just got screwed over by Lex, and he still should be respected for the way he played that game. It took me a long time to get over it. And then right when I was finally just when I stopped crying, I find out that he's on the Amazing Race cast. I watched the premiere, and he's like first or second one eliminated. He was the second one eliminated, but it was a double elimination thing, so he was technically the first one. But it was sad. It was sad.
It was the first episode. No one got eliminated. So then the second episode went on, and he got eliminated.
Yeah, but he got 10th. He got second to last place, but he got eliminated first because the last two people got eliminated, which is bullshit. But yeah, I'm still crying about it.
That was painful. What was the funniest episode? What was the funniest thing this episode?
I mean, I'm sure you have some stuff in mind, but I mean, just going over what I'm thinking. Scorpion thing was kind of funny. I thought the Dumbledore comment for Dan was kind of funny. Vince's hug, pretty funny. Will and the sandwiches, kind of funny. I'm trying to think of like an unexpected funny moment that people might not have caught, like some physical humor or something. Do you have anything in mind?
Eating that like dead cow or something? That was so weird. Like
that was not funny. That was that grossed me out.
We never have a shot like that though. Like I don't know, I thought there was something like fucking symbolic about it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe like white collar tribe, like they're gonna eat one of their own or something. Oh well. I don't know, I think Jen, like the we smell moment, that might be it for me.
I'm just gonna go with Vince this episode. You could just give the trophy to Vince for being absolutely ridiculous. And he's like, whenever he's like, my life is like a wave, and I'm just gonna surf this right now. And like, it's like I'm a truth seer. I see truth in all aspects of my life. So I think that's ridiculous enough to give him the trophy. Although I still thought that like, I think that what Rodney was trying to say is that Dan was Uncle Dursley, not Dumbledore.
Oh, really? I don't know. Maybe he didn't know. I don't know. Maybe like because of his beard, he called him Dumbledore. Who knows?
But because he's fat, he could also be Dursley. You never know. These are the type of things I lie awake and I'm haunted with, and I just can't come to a conclusion. It keeps me up at night.
Until you cry yourself to sleep thinking about Ethan losing All-Stars.
Yeah, basically that's my cycle, and then I study for tests and all this other crazy stuff, and then I cry more about Ethan.
People don't understand why we like All-Stars so much. You know?
Okay.
I don't know. Well, I can't explain it. It's just a great season to us.
It's the best
fucking great season.
It's the best cast you will ever get for a Survivor season.
Maybe Heroes vs. Villains comes close, but All Stars just fucking it's All Stars. Like, it's great. Like I would replay that season over and over and over and over, and you would still come out with like great things.
Yeah, and it's Rob Mariano back when we're like actually impressed, and with what he's doing, he's not just being annoying. It's not like Redemption Island, where it's just like a Rob fest. Like I will go on record saying I love Survivor All Stars, but that's not what these people came here for. They came here for Survivor Worlds Apart Episode 1, and I'm sincerely sorry to all of you. Right now it says we have zero viewers. So if any of you guys watch this at any point, I'm sorry we ranted on about nothing, but that's what you're going to get with this podcast. We don't follow the rules. This is a no-caller-esque podcast. We make our own rules. We talk about what we want when we want. Isn't that right, Jack?
Yeah, fuck them. no, don't. But yeah, basically it.
So if you have any ideas about how we can make the podcast better, we're all ears, because we fully acknowledge that this podcast probably sucks. It's not even a podcast. It's just a Google Hangout of two guys in sweatshirts in their apartments talking about some goofy show. So if you have any ideas, we're all ears. We're at a loss. We don't know how to be more interesting, but I'm sure there's a way. But do you have any thoughts about next week, or did we basically We basically covered it all, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm pumped for next week. We'll talk about it then. If I don't know when. I think maybe Can 3 should be starting soon, so maybe we'll talk about that soon. I'll text you or something. But
I, I think the
when
cast isn't. I think the cast isn't going to be released for like. I don't think the show's starting for like another month.
really? I just saw
Yeah.
something on it on the Reddit Big Brother page, but I'll look at that later.
Oh, well, maybe. I mean, when the cast comes out, if you're a Big Brother Canada fan, which if you're a Big Brother fan, go watch Big Brother Canada seasons
Hmm.
because you'll be a Big Brother Canada season. You'll be a Big Brother Canada fan because they're great. But we'll probably do like a cast assessment. We're gonna do a fantasy draft for that also. We'll probably
Hmm.
give you once a week coverage of Big Brother Canada, maybe over the weekend. And what you should know, Llama Talk. There's no Survivor Worlds Apart spoilers, but there will be live feed spoilers for Big Brother, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about whatever. We don't have the rigid,
Yeah.
strict rules. So if you're afraid of, oh, I don't want to, I'm not finished watching all the Survivor season, so I don't want them to spoil Survivor Fiji for me. We might talk about something from Survivor Fiji. So, but either way, watch the podcast. But just get spoiled.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, this is a good episode. Like I said, I'm pumped for next episode. I can't wait to see why Nina's like overreacting. I can't wait to see what happens with Dan and everything. But it's a great first episode, and it really sets up a lot for the season. And I have a lot of high hopes for this season.
Yeah, I think we're going to be energized. We're going to have a lot to talk about this season. It's going to be fun talking about it. Hopefully, it already looks like we're going to have a lot of people to root for, which was something really missing last season, and it probably translated to our podcast where we're just like, I don't give a shit about these people or who wins, and I don't think that's going to be the case this season.
Yeah. For sure. So, I don't know. I'll see you next week, Magnus.
Yeah. Next week, Llama Talk, baby. Okay, see you later.
See ya.